As a student and as a recent grad, I worried about there being enough jobs for music therapists. Now, 10 years later, I'm worried about there being enough therapists for jobs. This sentiment is echoed across our field by therapists working in a variety of settings all around the country. Furthermore, my job as a music therapist is more secure if there are more music therapists. Now, this may sound counterintuitive as we tend to think first about competition for existing jobs, but the more pervasive music therapy services are in healthcare in general, the more it will be seen as a standard part of care rather than some anomaly, and the quantity of available jobs will increase exponentially. So really we have a chicken and an egg situation. The more secure, specifically job secure our field is, the more therapists we will attract. But we need more therapists to further establish our field within the healthcare community and to create more jobs. How many times have you heard this phrase? I'd love to be a music therapist, but there are no jobs. I've even heard similar notions within our field. I'd love to work with older adults, but there are no jobs. So let's talk about music therapy in the eldercare population. Most importantly, what kind of potential is there for music therapy in eldercare? Let's start with the numbers. In 1985, older adults, this is 65 and older, accounted for 11% of the US population. By 2010, they were 13% of the population, meaning more than 40 million Americans were 65 and older. By 2030, older adults are expected to reach 20% of the population. Now, I don't think of 65 or early 70s as being that old, so let's look at a different metric. In 1900, only 100,000 Americans lived to be 85 and older. But by 2010, that number had grown to 5.5 million, and now it is the fastest growing age group of elders. By 2050, the 85 and older age group is projected to reach 19 million people, accounting for 24% of older adults and 5% of our total population. 19 million people they're projecting will be 85 and older. Now, we can't talk about the eldercare population without addressing Alzheimer's and dementia as well, and you're going to see why with the next set of numbers. 1 in 3 seniors will die from Alzheimer's or another dementia. Every 65 seconds, someone in America develops the disease. Now, to put this in perspective, that means just while I'm here on stage talking, 16 people will develop Alzheimer's. There are currently 5.7 million Americans living with Alzheimer's, and by 2050, that number is projected to rise to nearly 14 million. As a music therapist working with older adults and seeing the challenges of eldercare firsthand, these numbers are sobering, to say the least. The point is, the eldercare population is huge, and it's exploding. The need for healthcare services, and subsequently the need for music therapy services, is also growing, and that need is poised to go through the roof. Not only is the eldercare population exploding, the need for music therapy with this population is so great, not just because of the numbers, but because music therapy is so key with aging adults. Now, I could go on and on about the benefit of music therapy with older adults, but they are only giving me 18 minutes to talk, and if you know me, you know I'm already struggling with time. But I do want to hit a few main points. When we talk about the aging population as a whole, we talk about physical decline, cognitive decline, we talk about memory loss, depression, anxiety, and social isolation. But when we talk about music therapy as a whole, we talk about how it can help physical functioning, how it promotes cognitive function, how it's an outlet for emotional expression and well-being, and most importantly, how shared musical experiences decrease social isolation. It can be a catalyst for emotional support. Music therapy is so key with the eldercare population because it can be used to meet the needs and all the challenges of aging. It's important to also note the tremendous effects of music on those living with Alzheimer's and dementia. Multiple studies on Alzheimer's and other memory disorders conclude that patients retain musical information much longer and out of proportion with their current state of cognitive functioning. In fact, musical memory remains intact even in the face of severe cognitive decline. Music is powerful with nonverbal seniors as familiar melodies are comforting and can ease the frustration of individuals who are struggling to communicate. This for me is so key. I work with so many older adults, and I know when we think about dementia, we always think about the videos of the sweet old lady who hasn't said anything or hasn't talked at all, and she hears her favorite song and suddenly starts sharing memories of her childhood. And I love those stories, and I love it when I get to witness that in my practice. But if I had to pick my favorite thing, it's when I'm working with people that are no longer even capable of recalling those stories, but they're capable of participating in drumming. Their feet are tapping and dancing along with the beat, and they're able to feel included, and you can see it on their face. Even though they can say nothing, they know I'm a part of this group, and I'm interacting with these people, and I'm loved, and I'm here, and they hear me, and they understand me. I think it's huge. Music provides expanded opportunities for self-expression and emotional expression without needing to verbally process. Maybe, as I said, they're not verbal at all and they're just there participating. Maybe they're able to share memories, but when you ask questions, they're unable to go into details. Music's rhythm, form, and familiarity and predictability gives disoriented seniors a much-needed sense of structure and security, and it helps prevent them from regressing alone and isolated. The point is, music, and specifically music therapy, is crucial in the care of older adults. People are living longer, and they are living longer in significantly declined states of health. Creating and growing the presence of music therapy in the care of older adults is essential from a clinical perspective, and with numbers rapidly increasing, it's also a crucial part of growing music therapy's presence in healthcare in general. Furthermore, as the aging population grows, the eldercare industry is expanding and more individuals are taking on the role of caregiver. There is a hunger for solutions to some of the challenges of long-term care, and more importantly, for alternative ways to connect with and care for aging loved ones, and ways to provide quality of life in the face of cognitive and physical decline. Music's gotten a lot of buzz in the media in the last few years, and with the rise in products such as music listening programs and even sing-along programs, now is a prime time for us as therapists to talk about expanding and refining the presence of music therapy in this changing world of eldercare. So how do we do that? How do we grow the presence of music therapy in older adult care? For me, it was creating music therapy jobs in older adult care where there was no music therapy. When I started out, that was my basic goal. I really wanted a job. In fact, I really needed a job. And I was passionate about older adults. There was no music therapy in any of the assisted living facilities or nursing homes in my area, and I actually had absolutely no idea what I was doing from a business perspective. But you know what? Now I do have a job, and so do 3 other therapists. On a side note, I needed to be 4, so if you have a resume, see me afterwards. I've since learned that music therapy and eldercare looks very different in different parts of the country. It was practically unheard of in my area when I started out, yet I've met therapists who work in eldercare communities as a full-time, on-staff music therapist. And having attended various networking events at national conference, I consistently see there is a wide range in how much music therapy is part of eldercare around the country. Despite regional differences in how music therapy services are present in older adult care, the first step towards growing music therapy services in eldercare is literally growing the presence of music therapy services in eldercare. Creating music therapy contracts where there are no contracts, and starting services in assisted living centers and nursing homes that have no music therapy. So what does this look like on a practical level? Cold calling. I know, everyone's favorite. In fact, if you are looking to start a business, grow your business, or expand your business into eldercare market, I challenge you to place a cold call today, even though it's Saturday. There's a lot of advice we could talk about: marketing materials, business plans, long-term and short-term strategies, best marketing practices, etc. But at the end of the day, the first step towards growing our presence of music therapy and the care of older adults is getting the word out, and even more importantly, getting our foot in the door. So how are you going to get that foot in the door? I'm going to give you the most succinct marketing plan for creating new contracts in older adult care as I can, so here we go. Number 1, call an eldercare community in your area. Hi, my name is Meredith Harmons. I'm with North Austin Music Therapy, and we have an interactive music program designed specifically for seniors, and I'd love to speak with someone about starting a group for your residents. That's it. There's your whole cold call. All right, now note, the words music therapy are not in my script. They're in my company name, so I chose not to include them. And most importantly, this needs to be as short and to the point as possible while giving enough information that whoever takes your call knows how to take further action and who to direct you to. Eventually, through a series of calls, and trust me, it'll be a series of calls, which may or may not be returned, you will be connected with a key decision maker. This is going to be your go-to person. Before going any further, this is the perfect time to double check and make sure this community is not already working with a music therapist. I suggest waiting till this point, as most of the time you'll get voicemail initially, or you may speak to a receptionist, and you probably won't be able to get a clear answer until this point. Now, ethically, if they are working with a music therapist, your marketing stops there. You tell them how thrilled you are that they have music therapy, and if you know the music therapist currently providing services, you're going to tell them just how wonderful that therapist is and move on. Trust me, the need is great. Don't sweat the contract. There are many others out there. Now that you have someone listening, it's your chance to give a very short pitch about music therapy. You're going to want to keep it short, clear, succinct, and practical, and you're going to end with a call to action. Essentially, you want to make their next step very clear, and you want to make it clear because you want it to be easy for them to take that next step. So what is the next step? Scheduling a meeting and/or a free sample session. Once you go in for the meeting, it's your chance to give a full sales pitch. Even though I say full sales pitch, you still want to keep that pitch succinct and to the point. Talk about the benefits of music therapy, not just for the residents specifically, but for their community as a whole. Make sure your service options and rates are clear and easy to choose from. I essentially have three main options: individual, small group, and large group. When I started out, I was like, we can do this group, and I had them built on themes and skill levels. It's too confusing. When people are confused and overwhelmed with decisions, they don't make a decision. You want them to make a decision, right? You want them to make a yes decision. So make it easy, make it clear for them. Keep it short. There are pages and pages of research, but a few basic points about the benefits of music therapy will do. You want to be clear about your service delivery options, clear about the cost. Be practical. This is what music therapy will look like, and this is how it will benefit this specific community. You want to spend much more time in your sales pitch talking about your program and your style of music therapy, rather than just the benefits of music therapy with older adults in general. Now, there are mixed feelings about sample sessions in our field. I've heard both sides of the debate, and I am pro sample session, and I am not afraid to say it. This has a lot to do with where I live. You're a what? More importantly, you want me to pay you what? I say I'm going to come in and show you exactly what I can do and exactly why it's worth it to pay me a music therapy rate. To date, my sample sessions have a 66% success rate with me landing a contract. I encourage you, read some books on marketing. You'll see 66% is completely unheard of for any other method of marketing, so I stand by my free sample sessions. Furthermore, that 66% only accounts for I did a sample session at a community and that community hired me. It does not account for the communities that hired me after seeing me in that initial community. This is something that happens a lot. Staff see me in one community, there's turnover, they move on to another community, they hire me there. So that 66%, I didn't even want to try to do the statistics, but the 66% doesn't account for all those additional contracts that have come in because somebody saw me in person and they witnessed the power of music therapy firsthand. Okay, so after your sample session and your meeting, you're going to want to follow up with your eldercare contracts. Now, even if they choose not to hire you at this point, you still do want to follow up with them occasionally. You obviously don't want to be badgering them, calling them every week, convincing them, because you're going to convince them that music therapy works. But I check in with the facilities that have chosen not to hire me, occasionally, maybe every year or two. And more importantly, I'm doing events in the community because my goal isn't just to market to that community, but make myself and my company part of the community of caregivers for elder care in my area. If you do get hired, don't think your job of marketing ends there. You will have to continue advocating for yourself and for your services. You will have to constantly remind people what music therapy is, that we are not entertainers, that music therapy time is not snack time. You will continue to get pushback on your rates, but all of that advocacy now is happening from inside the world of elder care. Now, I'm saying advocacy, but what I really mean is marketing, okay? Because marketing, I know we don't like this word. Marketing, in my opinion, is one of the highest forms of advocacy, because when you market music therapy, you're not just asking people to buy into music therapy ideologically, you're actually asking them to buy into it and believe in it enough that they're willing to pay for it. Ongoing marketing to staff in the building is also huge. At my company, we have a cell phone policy. Once you walk in the door, your cell phone is tucked away. And this is to ensure that you are available to have those conversations, that you're remembering to smile and to greet people that you meet on your way to do your group or your individual sessions. These will be elevator speeches, smiling, sharing client stories. This is huge. Maybe attending family nights at that community to talk about the work that you're doing on a daily basis. Above all, the key when you're doing your ongoing advocacy is to talk specifically about how music therapy is benefiting their residents and their community. You want whoever you are talking to see the benefits of music therapy very concretely and how it is directly impacting the people in their world, not just as an abstract idea of something that's beneficial for older adults. Do you want to advocate for music therapy with older adults? Do you want to see music therapy thriving in the changing world of elder care? Do you want music therapy to stop being synonymous with entertainment? This means making those calls, bringing music therapy to communities and markets that don't have it, and changing the culture of music therapy, one new music therapy contract at a time. Thank you.